I've lived in Georgia for just over 4 years, and I began to understand in the last couple of years why I needed to move to a place that I knew nothing about and did not have close friends or family nearby. As I was discussing this with a friend, I told her that God needed to isolate me to prepare me for the things that were yet to come in my spiritual journey. She gave me a better word: insulate. I was thinking only of isolation because of the way my social life changed drastically when I relocated from Chicago to Atlanta. I have several friends in Chicago. That includes former neighbors, which means I didn't have to go far to spend time with friends. I went from hanging out with friends every week to hanging out at home by myself almost every week. It's funny how long it took for me to really spend time thinking about this. I am very much an introvert and not naturally outgoing. I enjoy being home and having time to myself. While there was a drastic change in my social life, there was only an occasional weekend where I found myself wishing that I had plans. It is extremely easy for me to stay home for days at a time and never be bored. I always have something to keep me occupied. Much of the time, I'm so immersed in my own little world that I don't think about what's going on outside. At my church, I joined a life group and started volunteering to obligate myself to be more social. It was great. I still had time to myself, but I was also starting to connect and engage with others. In 2020, COVID-19 and an exit from regular full-time employment changed everything and took isolation to a new level. Looking back, I see that it truly was insulation. My last day at my former job was March 6, 2020. It was a week later that COVID-19 turned everything upside down. In my life, however, things were being turned right side up. My separation from the former job was not due to COVID-19. It was due to something more deep and hurtful than I could have ever imagined. There were times that I was upset, but deep down, I understood that God was course correcting. He removed me from a situation where I had gotten way too comfortable. I would not be able to live out His plan for my life had I stayed in that environment. The timing could not have been more perfect. I felt so blessed that I was able to exit the world of human resources right before things got chaotic with layoffs, salary cuts, and everything else that HR professionals must now navigate because of the new landscape that COVID-19 forced upon everyone. As a result of that separation and having to quarantine due to the pandemic, I had more time at home than ever before. Most of the time it was great. For me, the best thing that came out of the experience was the ability to spend more time with God. Much of the time we are so busy that we spend little or no time with God at all. It is so easy to get caught up in all the things that are commanding our attention. Things have shifted now, and I could freely spend as much time as needed with God each day. It is an amazing privilege. There was a line in my devotional today that really resonated with me. It said, "Satan will isolate you in order to destroy you." I added something to that. Satan will isolate you in order to destroy you, but God's insulation during that isolation will keep you safe. Looking back over the last 2 years, I am amazed at what God has done and is doing in my life. I have gone from being a diligent planner to only planning what I absolutely must. I wake up each day and allow God to execute His plan for the day. I continually remind myself that to enjoy life to the fullest, I need to be present in the moment that I have right now. There is no need to concern myself with the past or the future. This moment is what we have, and it is what we should fully embrace and enjoy. Many people do not have the luxury of being able to quietly spend as much time with God as they would like. Even if it is just for a moment, take a pause, look around and see how blessed you are and thank God for it. You may not be able to spend hours, but thankfully, God loves moments as well.